back corner when I'm not presenting.
Listening in.
And listen in.
Hey everybody, welcome to Bash University Live here on Tuesday night.
Take a quick break, watch John Cruz's on the Tokyo rig.
Be a part of the show, get some chances to win some awesome prizes.
This Bash You Go. You know, we didn't have that back then, and dude, it can just...
That text thread gives me so much energy. I mean, like I'm dialed.
Welcome to Bash University Live. It's Tuesday night, and we're so excited to be here. It's been a crazy Bash University week. We're right in the middle of it. We're fresh off Bash University classes, our Zoom virtual classes were going on all weekend, last weekend, and we were doing it again this weekend with another great lineup of speakers, and we're going to share all that information with you. So excited tonight. Two-time Bassmaster Classic champ Hank Cherry is going to be with us tonight. Man, we love having him on the show. He's got 2 in the tank. He's going for 3 in a row. Can he pull it off? What an amazing feat that will be. It's never been done before. And we can't wait to talk to him. We're going to be talking to him about how he does it, the mental side, how he steps up in the moment when the lights are on and gets the W. Man, he's always in the hunt in the big tournaments, and can't wait to talk to him about that and all of the techniques that he uses, his strengths, his weaknesses. We're going to be diving in deep with Hank Cherry, Bash University style. Bring your questions. Hit us up on the chat board, wherever you're watching, YouTube, Facebook, over at bashu.tv. Let us know your questions. We're going to pass them along to Hank. And if we use your question on the air, we're going to hook you up with something really, really cool like we always do. And it's going to be a great show. So glad you're with us tonight. Can't wait to get Hank on the show. But right now we got BTC in studio kicking us off. Here we go. Another Bash U Live, BTC.
Here we go, Peter. Yeah, it's a beautiful Tuesday night in January in New Jersey.
Yes. It's not snowing here.
No, it's actually nothing beautiful about it, but here we are anyhow, you know. Well, we got Rich isn't with us tonight.
There, BTC.
What's that?
We before you know it, we're all going to be fishing in the spring weather. It's almost here, man.
That's right.
Blink your eyes and it will be here. We just got out of the snow. We were worried we were going to get snowed out and sleet and black ice, and now we're facing it again coming up, and we're going to be actually broadcasting out of South Carolina, so we're right in the path of some nasty business, JK, but we survived last weekend. I think we're going to do it again this weekend.
Oh, are we ever, man? I'm so excited. I'm excited because it's winter. It's never winter down here, but maybe once every 4 years, and this time we get back-to-back winters. And let me define to you what a winter in the South is. When the water temperature goes below 50. I had a buddy out on the lake today. It is 49 degrees, baby. We're going to have a winter. Those fish are going to go in their wintering holes. It's going to be great. And some guys are going to dust that old box of the shad wraps off, and I'll probably donate to their cause whenever I get to go fishing. But that just means I get to throw that Fritz side, man, and I'm excited about that. So excited about the cold. We're going to have more cold. But, man, I'm more excited about these seminars this weekend. It's my favorite time of year, you know. I've been working on the calendar for Bash U TV this year. I mean, guys, some of the content we're getting is just top notch and maybe the best ever. So
quick rundown of our speakers this weekend.
Hold up.
Oh, yeah.
I have an objection.
Action?
There's no way this is your favorite time of the year, Justin.
Huh?
There's no way this is your favorite time of the year.
I love when the fish winter, when they go straight from a fall pattern.
Right.
You don't even know what this is like, okay?
No,
you guys
no, actually, I understand the winter bite.
it stinks when they go straight from a fall pattern to a spawn because it just, unless you are the guy who like gets on them, you'll have all these tournaments where one guy wins by like 6 pounds. You know, and it's nice to be that guy, but not all of us can always be that guy.
It sounds terrible. They go from a fall pattern to the spawn.
they just get a little bit more predictable. If you know where fish will go in the wintertime, they get a little bit more predictable on how they'll move up to spawn and stuff. And I don't know. I guess I've learned to love the winter. I've been around you guys. I've learned how to throw a blade bait. Yeah. I mean, I'm in love with that. We got the jigging spoon seminar from Brandon Cobb this year. I got geeked up on that. I can't wait to go drop a spoon. One of the things that I told myself I have to learn this year was a Damiki rig. I needed cold water to do it. I got to go to Lake Cumberland in February. Like, I want the cold water so I can go out there and get kind of acclimated. You know, I'm excited about that. But back to what Pete said, quick rundown. Patrick Walters, fishing trees, going deep into the cypress trees he grew up on, timber, standing timber that he won out on Lake Fork, laydowns. You know, Pete, you're going to love this seminar. His top 5 techniques for pre-spawn. John Cruz is bringing the Nico rig and talking about jigs, how you select them, the right jig for the right job. Gonna break it down. He may even talk about that new mini swim jig, which I see right here. That's a nice little piece right there. But Greg DePalma, the Carolina rig, and when to choose the right top water. I'm with you, Pete. I love the Carolina rig too. Matt Airy talking about underspins. Now, why would I go do that? You know, well, we just have, you know, maybe he's one of my picks to win the Classic. Maybe he does it on that. You never know, but he's given us the seminar. I'm super excited about that. When things get tough, know when to downsize. Last week, we had go big or go home. No. Yeah, know when to upsize your lures with Brian Thrift. Now we're getting with his buddy talking about when to go micro. So a lot of cool techniques he's gonna unveil there. Brandon Cobb's top 5 for post-spawn. We got you in the pre-spawn. Last week we had Heron's top 5 for summertime. Nice little top 5 series coming to Bass UTV this year. One I'm looking forward to the most, Pete. I'm sorry, I'm dragging this out, but man, tournament strategies with Brandon Cobb, run and gun versus slow and methodical. I don't know who would want to tackle that as a seminar, but if anybody can do it, it's Brandon Cobb, and you know that. And the sight fishing master, Drew Cook, he's one of the best in the game, already dropped 1 golden nugget of a tidbit on a Bass U live show he joined us for. He is going to bring even more in this episode.
That was the greatest nugget. What was that? Harassing the fish the night before.
Yeah. Dude, there's more that blow your mind. You think that one was good. Just wait till we get this seminar with Drew. And then he's going to do shallow to deep water swim jigs. Most people think the swim jig is just a shallow water tool. You know, Drew's talking to me about catching them in 15, 20, 35 feet of water on a swim jig. What? Cannot wait to unveil that and talk about it top to bottom. Man, I'm just so excited about this list of
topics. Get your tickets, guys. I put the link on the IM, so get yourself signed up, get yourself some tickets. I see Joe Drowns wants some more kayak stuff. Coming soon, Joe. Hang in there. We got some cool stuff coming your way real soon at Bass UTV. And JK, you love this time of year. Alex loves this time of year too. He gets to go ice fishing where he lives.
I sure do, Pete. We haven't quite got out there yet, at least in my neck of the woods. It's not thick enough yet, but I am excited to get out there. Probably another week or two we'll get out there, get out the Rapala jig and wraps and see what we can't yank through the hole.
Yes. I've seen some. BTC, they have luxury ice fishing shacks. Have you seen those, man?
I've seen them. You know what I mean?
Dude, I saw some videos where you call, they will trailer this shack out to the ice on wheels. They lower it down on the ice, and then they cut the holes for you. And you have TV, stove, refrigerator, sofas, bed, you know, it's just full luxury out on the ice.
I'm down with all that, but the TVs. But man, that's like as a kid on the couch on Saturday mornings watching the cartoons ended and rolled into the fishing shows. I just remember like sitting on the couch thinking like I'm on an island and it's water all around me fishing. You know, it's just like it's like a dream to like sit in a shanty and like on a couch with music playing and fishing rod in your hand.
Dude, it's awesome. Looks awesome.
Yeah. I got to do
I
that.
have never been. DQ, Rapala, if you guys are listening, we need an invite to come up to Minnesota and do some ice fishing. We've never been. Looks like a blast, but
heck yeah.
But we don't have ice around here. I know we've got tournaments getting started. We're going to be down in Florida. We're going to be talking to Hank Cherry about a lot of stuff, including the upcoming tournament season and the upcoming classic on Lake Hartwell, where he's going to try to hit 3 grand slams in a row. Can it be done? Mm-hmm. We will see where his head is with things. So get your questions together for Hank, and we've got a lot of great prizes. And I'm going to throw it back to you, JK, because as always, we're giving away a bunch of great stuff tonight. So I'm going to let you run it down.
Yeah, man, let's start with the Facebook like and share tonight. We've got a $50 TH Marine gift card. And BTC, correct me if I'm wrong. At any point during this announcement, I'm taking Riz's place tonight. Guys, we got 2 Gills gift cards that were Gills Gear gift cards.
$25.
That were given away. What are they, $45 a pop?
$25.
$25. I tried to give you guys more money. I mean, I tried. But either way, I'm excited about Gills. I got my warm jacket on tonight. It's feeling nice and toasty up in this office. Oh gosh, the grand prize, the Rugged Road cooler. That's a value of $300, right, BT?
That's
Come
right.
on.
$300.
Who do we have to thank for that? Where did that come from?
Our guest tonight, Hank Cherry.
Oh, thank you, Hank.
Yeah.
Saint Hank tonight, hooking somebody up with a cooler.
Thanks, Cherry.
Guys, I've been traveling with a cooler a lot lately, just sticking it in the back of the truck. It's kind of nice. Gosh, what else do we got? We got guys, if you haven't joined the program right now, now's the time. You start your New Year's resolution with us. Resolve to catch more and bigger bass. It's 60 days free. Pete's not going to do that again this year. He won't let me do it. You know, it's not going to happen. We did it at last year, New Year's, and he was generous coming out of Christmas, guys. Take that 60 days while you can. Gosh, and what's our annual gift? If you guys want to sign up annually right now, I believe the prize. What do we got, Pete, for that?
A hat, a brooch, and a pterodactyl.
Bass University hat, a face shield, and it's the discounted rate even for annuals that coming in at $119 for an annual subscription.
That's right. Sorry, I almost went lower, and I didn't want to say that because I was like, wait, we're giving away a hat. So yeah, that's a $25, gosh, 30-something other dollar value for the gift pack with the discount, guys. That's no better time to join than right now. It's cabin fever. If you're like me, you've got baits all over your office. They're just everywhere. Now's the time to join. Go over, sign up. Subscribers are going to be the ones who are winning prizes tonight, guys. So join us, take the free trial, come over, and maybe your question gets picked and you win a prize. What I missed, BTC?
I think that's good for now. I got one to hit when we get back from the break, but let's take that commercial break and get right on back with Hank Cherry.
Hank Cherry, 2-time classic champ, will be here with us momentarily. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
AquaView, the leader in underwater viewing technology. Find what you are looking for. Catch more fish. Have more fun. AquaView. Seeing is believing.
Why do you love casting fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA.
Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick.
Every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out doing a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
We're different. Some would say obsessed. There's no place on earth we'd rather be than right here, right now. Performance-driven gear, so you can fish longer, harder. Gill's Performance Fishing.
Welcome back to Bass University Live. So glad you could join us tonight. I'm thrilled to death. We've got man, one of the greatest anglers on the planet is going to be spending some time with us right now, and he's also one of the best Bass University instructors, a fan favorite with us because he always gives up the goods like we like to see at Bass University. We demand from all of our guys, but we're so glad to have him with us. Two-time Bassmaster Classic champ, maybe 3 in a row. Who knows? But we're tickled to death to have him with us tonight. The great, the champ, Hank Cherry. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, guys. How are y'all tonight?
Man, we're great. Anytime we get a chance to talk fishing, anytime we get a classic champ on, we're thrilled to death, man. We're glad you can make some time with us tonight.
Looking forward to it. Anytime I get a chance to talk, I'm more than willing to do it. Anything I can't talk about, my wife, as you've seen, she'll jump on here and she can talk too. So
Hell yeah.
Well, we'll make sure to bring her in. I can't wait to hear some of the Cherry stories from the years past. But I know you were just mentioning on the break that you were getting pummeled on as the number one question at the boat show was like, what are you going to do if you win 3 in a row, Hank?
well, you know, they'd ask that and they're like, do you want to win 3? You think you can do it? I'm like, it's kind of a dumb question. Do I want to win? I mean, but you know, I don't know. You don't expect them when wins happen. They just come. I mean, it's a place that I feel comfortable at, but I've said 100 times, it's also the time of year and it's at a fishery where probably anybody in the field can do it, fishing however they want to. It's turned out it's going to be a good tournament. It went from really, really unseasonably warm weather to now we're cold. Night had a big snow. Nights way down where they need to be. It's going to drop that water temperature down, and it'll actually, I think it'll help because I think it'll put the fish back in their cycle to where when March rolls around, they'll be thinking about coming up and wanting to go do their thing. So I think it's going to make out for a much better tournament than if it would have stayed warm.
Playing into your hands, playing into the jerkbait bite. And I got to ask you this. Which stretch of riprap are you going to win the Classic on down at Lake Hartwell?
I don't know that I really don't know that it'll come off of riprap at Hartwell if I were to do that. I mean, you could catch them off the riprap at Hartwell. There's 100 bridges. I just think more it's going to be about being at the right place, the right time, especially early in the morning, and capitalizing on that herring bite. At least that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, that's funny. I fished there. I know JK has too. It's just covered up in riprap, and I'm thinking preparing to have you on the show, and I'm thinking, my gosh, how is he going to pick? There's like miles of riprap on this lake.
Well, there are sections that are better than the others, and there's certainly different creeks that are better at different times. But like I said, with the weather we've had this year, it's going to be interesting to see how everybody picks it apart, not just myself, but everybody, because I think it's going to be one of those deals where it can be won from, that 2-foot margin all the way out to the timber in the 40s. It's just going to, I think the weather patterns leading up to the tournament are really going to dictate what style is going to prevail at the end.
Well, you're doing a lot of strategy, and that's great, because that's one of the things that we really wanted to dive in tonight is, and we're looking at your record, and it's stellar in the big derbies. It seems like you're always in the hunt. Of course, you got 2 wins in a row. And I guess, how do you prepare differently for the big tournaments mentally, or is it like every other tournament? Do you do anything different when the lights are on? Because you always seem to be in the hunt when they are.
It just seems that like with the classic, there's no points involved. So it's kind of like you pick your best arsenal, you put your best team forward, and you go play. Not that you don't do that in a regular season event, but you have to look at points, and you have to assist in your head. Okay, is this one I can win? Or is this one I need to putt for par? And the funny thing about that in regular tournaments, lots of times when you find yourself just trying to putt for par and stay above water, they end up being your better tournaments because you're not expecting anything. Like one of the biggest letdowns to me in tournament fishing, and it's happened to everybody that does it, you found and they're going to bite first thing, and then you pull up and you don't catch one. And that just kind of makes your day go backwards, and it drives you nuts. But with the classic, it's kind of like, like I said, you pick your game plan, you pick, and you run. They're first. I mean, there's other places to finish, but everybody wants that first. So with no points, it's much easier to go and just try to blow it out the water than concentrate on, well, it's 4 hours into it and I haven't had a bite. I mean, in a place like you make that stretch where you make those 5, 6, 7 casts in a row, you boat 15, 17 pounds, you're right in the game.
Yeah, I hear you, Hank, and I'm suffering with a little technical glitch on my end. I don't know if you guys could hear Hank. He was getting kind of choppy on my end, but I was listening to everything, and it's interesting that you're right. What you said was, and to me, that's the biggest challenge in fishing is when you show up to an area and those fish have left, and you got to try to recover from that, but because, man, that's amazing. It's an amazing thought process because there's no points involved. Man, it doesn't even occur to you. You just shuck that off and keep rolling for the win.
Yeah, you got to. You just got to try to keep adjusting. And, it's just one of those deals where it's kind of that winner take all scenario. And that just appeals to me because even when the classic comes and I go practice, I don't bring all this A, B, C, D, E, F game plan stuff. I bring my A game, and we're either going to do that or we're going to hang out with folks at the show. One of the two.
Hank, I want to get a little technical here. You're obviously, when the camera's been on you in some of those big moments, people obviously see you and associate you as a jerkbait fisherman or whatever. And I feel like I've paid pretty close attention to you. We can talk about some of your great classics. Like Pete's talking about you shining in these big derbies, man. We saw you at Grand. Everybody knows about that one and what you were throwing. Everybody, may not know at Conroe you had a great classic and you were on a jerkbait bite there too. We've seen you pull out the jig a little bit too, and these classics that you won with the jig and the jerkbait playing. Man, I'm telling you, like I told Pete, I said, man, I think Hank's a jig and a jerkbait guy. Is that true, Hank? Or is that true to classify you as that? Is that fair?
Well, those are probably my two favorite things to do. I love throwing a jig and I love throwing jerkbait, and they're opposite ends of the spectrum, but that's my comfort zone. That's what I grew up throwing a lot. And I found that we fish a little different in the Carolinas than they do really across the country. And it seems like some of the oddball stuff we do here tends to work out for me all around the country. So I try, when I go fish any kind of tournament, I just try to do what I'm most comfortable with, and hopefully it works out for the best.
So you would classify jig and a jerkbait as your strengths. What is Hank Cherry's biggest weakness out there? What are you working on in 2022?
By far, my biggest weakness is just big, rough water. I just don't take it well. Physically, I don't take it well. And it's always around smallmouth, because the problem I have with them is practice will be wonderful and I'll find them and I'll know my drifts. I'll know the rock piles. I know all this. I know all that. And the whole time I'm out there, we'll have some kind of goofed up weather. I don't have the experience and the confidence to get back on it. And the whole time I'm doing it, I'm thinking, man, I should be up there jerking right now. So it's just that's my thing, is way out off the bank is my biggest weakness by far.
Wow. Well, that's certainly challenging. And, you have some of those big waters on your schedule this year. So, you know, you're going to get a chance to build on that for sure.
For sure. Especially when we go up to Ohio, it's a big place. It got rough last time. I actually, tore my shoulder up the last time we were there. So I'm looking to get some revenge at that place, but it's not that I can't do it. It's just one of those things where if I'm pitching and the catcher keeps calling for a curveball, but I really want to throw him a fastball, I really want to throw him a fastball. Sooner or later, you keep throwing that fastball, somebody's going to crush it. But I like the way things have been working out for me, especially the past 4 years or so. And I'm just going to keep doing that.
Focusing on your strengths. I love that. I love that. I'm doubling down on mine this year as well as my New Year's resolution. And I love to hear that. It's almost like you keep working your strengths and you wait for those patterns to come around to you. And you're in such a great position when that happens to win. You know, but
winning's what we all want.
That's it. That's it. Now, you know, the mental side of this is the decision-making part of it is such a big deal. How do you prepare for making those tough decisions? Do you do any, like, I mean, you're a baseball guy, you know, there's a lot of situational practice that goes into that game. What do you do to help your decision-making process in these derbies?
I try to just make sure that I take care of what I control, the variables that are in my control, and the rest I just let go. There was a period of time where I tried to control everything and plan for everything, and you really just can't do that. I've learned some valuable lessons, different parts of the country, different things, just to, you know, count on things that are going to happen, like, you know, rough weather. Florida is always going to be a cold front, things of those nature. But I really just try to remind myself that I'm doing this because I love what I do. I need to make checks to take care of my family. And as long as I use the tools that are at my hand and I go out and compete on tournament day to the best of my ability, then even if I don't catch them, it wasn't a failure. It just didn't work out that day. Everybody concentrates on people in the field, and this guy lives here and this guy lives there. But in reality, we're all competing against the fish, and X amount of people get paid. And at the end of the day, you want to be one of those X guys that gets paid. And that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, that's a
lot of mental toughness there, JK.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it mentally. And you can tell, you know, why he's won 2 in a row. We all experienced the heartbreak with Hank back in, 13 or so at Grand, and to see you come back and do that. There's a lot to what you just spoke to mentally for probably, you know, how you transformed and grew up, I guess, and got better there. Now I want to ask you on the technical side of things. All right. So we just got kind of a mental approach. On the technical side of things, the Hank Cherry who just won back-to-back classics, what's different about that Hank Cherry now than the Hank Cherry that we saw back in 13? Technical side.
Technically, you know, I don't lose near as many fish as I used to as far as technically in fishing. Like, I always still got a lot of bites, and everybody said, well, at least you're around them. And I would lose a lot of fish, whether I panicked or maybe my equipment wasn't exactly right. And through tooling with my head and just more practice, and especially with the jerk bait and experiment with rod, reel, line combos, this, that, and the other, I've got it down to kind of a science or system that works for me. I know something very technical I used to work on. I worked on a bunch was setting the hook on my jig. I was really, really bad about either slacklining them or getting them too tight. And I really concentrated, and I just know that line stretch that I'm looking for before I come up, and it's second nature now. It just happens. It sounds stupid and trivial, but it can make the difference between driving the hook through a 7-pounder's mouth or him just having it in his crushers and jumping and spitting it. Those kind of things are what I've really worked on that I think have kind of taken me a step forward in my fishing career.
Yeah. And so you weren't satisfied with just being an all-star. You went all-star to MVP, and that's it, guys. You know, Pete, kind of like what you were talking about, focusing on those strengths and stuff. you do that along with the execution side, his batting average went up. That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
Yeah, the strike to catch ratio, focusing there, being able to identify that problem was huge, right? You're already a super talented angler. You've identified an area that you can improve on. Man, I think people don't realize that's a great thing, because so often as anglers, maybe we might not know why we're messing up or even be able to identify, but you identified a problem there and were able to fix it, man. That's huge.
Well, it was another thing that I did was I noticed I was getting a lot of wear and tear on my right side because I continuously was doing everything right-handed when I'm naturally ambidextrous. So in the off seasons when I fished all the wintertime derbies and whatnot, I pretty much kept the rod in my left hand. And now I think I'm just as good as caster, skipper, launch it out of my left hand than I am my right. So the wear and tear is gone there. And I've learned to flip and pitch with both hands. So that takes a little bit of wear and tear off. It's just things that I've done to try to prolong my career and just maybe help me get a few extra bites every now and then when there's a tough corner or a tough spot to hit that if I only have to have the rod in one hand, I'm not going to have that angle. But if I can switch, I can go around something a little better with the other arm. And I've just seen that pay off from time to time.
Man, I can imagine, because I suffer, and I know a lot of people do, with rod fatigue, especially with that technique. And I get tendonitis in my right elbow. And I mean, it's so awesome that you were able to do it with your other hand. If I could pitch and flip as easily with my left hand as I can my right, it would eliminate that problem. But man, you've been able to get it done. How did you practice that a lot? Because I mean, I tried. I cannot put that jig with my left hand anywhere near where I can do it with my right hand.
Where I live, though, we have lots of targets. We have tons of, pontoons, floating docks, dock poles, things like that. And it's just one of those things where I was out one day goofing and I just kept in that hand and I was just trying to get it under as much stuff as I could with that left hand, because then I've noticed on a lot of places, especially like in Florida, I pitch up there, I'm right, my hand's right on the reel. My hand's never left the rod. I don't have to rotate or change or anything. It's like my son, I actually taught him, and he's grown up fishing now. He throws with left-handed reels. So he's always got the rod in his right hand and it's right back to his reel, which he always asks me, and I don't really know the answer for, because if you give me a spinning rod, the rod's in my right hand and the reel's in my left hand. So, I don't know, but it's just little things like that, I think, that have just help my percentages go up, help my casting accuracy go up. And if you put all that together, it just equals, you save time and put more fish in the boat.
No doubt. Now, we're here talking to Hank Cherry, two-time classic champ, about to take a shot at a third. The IM board is lit up, and I know a lot of Bass you guys want to ask some questions to you, Hank. So I'm going to pass it over to our boy Alex to pass some IMs your way.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. We got a lot of great questions coming in on the YouTube, Facebook, and of course over on the BassU.TV/live site. So I'm going to throw a couple of these at Hank here. And the first one is going to come from Coach. And Coach, for this question, you're going to win a $25 Gills Gear gift card. So please go ahead and send in your email, and we'll get that sent over to you as soon as possible when the show gets wrapped up. So, Hank, what Coach wants to know from you is, when do you pick up the fire red stunner, and would you prefer that color in dingy or clear water?
Oh, that was a very popular question. Actually, this whole weekend I did 4 seminars, and even when I wasn't talking jerkbaits, they asked that question. That bait is one of those things that definitely has its time. I've seen it shine in stained water, and I've really, really seen them knock the paint off of it in clear water. You just have to have that situation where those fish have that bad attitude. They're thinking about everything transgressing, getting towards the spawning cycle, and they're moving that direction. And all I can tell you, it's a trial and error thing. But when you pick the day and you're out there and they get on it, it's going to be some of the best bites you've ever had, because they eat that thing like they eat a red square bill or a red crankbait. I mean, it's just crazy the bites you get. And another thing to keep in mind is when that red crankbait pattern gets on at your local lake and you find it hard to get a bite, go back to those same areas with that red jerk bait and use it and bang it around off the rocks, bang it off dock poles, in the trees, whatnot. And I promise you, you're going to pick up quite a few more fish that were left behind from the crankbait.
Love it, Coach. Great question.
That's
As
juicy.
always, coach is always with us. And hopefully maybe we'll see you this weekend at our live Zoom seminars. But I'm gonna send it back to you, Alex. Who else do we have over there?
Yeah, another really good one that came in was from Mr. Higgs. And Mr. Higgs, you're lucky enough to win the same prize as Coach. Go ahead, send in your email. We'll get a $25 Gills Gear gift card headed out your way. And Hank, what Mr. Higgs wants to know is when you're getting a lot of bites on a jerk bait, but you're not seeing a lot of size with those bites, what do you do to try to upsize that caliber of fish?
Usually the first thing I do, if I'm getting a lot of bites, especially jerking, and they're not what I'm looking for, I've changed locations. I've found that this time of year when it's cold and when you're getting closer, like I said, to that early pre-spawn, those bigger fish tend to congregate together. So I'm going around, I'm looking, especially in a tournament, I'm looking for those 3, 4, 5, 6 pound fish. If you're catching a bunch of pound and a half or 2 pounders, you're around some fish, but the bigger ones may be out further. They may be in closer. You might look around and look for the closest secondary point, or channel swing that's near you, or sandy flat, or maybe a transition where it goes from rock to clay, and just start filling around until you get that 3 pound bite, and then start putting it together.
When do you put it down? Like, all right, the jerk bait, it's not the deal. Do you have a recipe for that, or how does that go this time of year for you?
For me, this time of year, generally, it's going to be the deal, because in the winter, you don't need the wind to catch them on it. It's basically, you just find them. Once I find them and I get those first couple bites and I know what zone they're in, I just have more confidence in that than doing anything else this time of year to catch a big bag of fish. Like I said, I like going to the jig, but I don't like throwing the jig when it's really, really cold. Like, I don't even like my jig hitting the bottom most of the time, even when I'm skipping docks. It might go in and touch the bottom. If they don't get it on the fall, I'm always swimming it back. Everything I'm doing fishing usually is moving. That's why I have such a hard time to go to Florida and I got to throw a stick bait like a general. I throw it out there and I've got to just watch birds or look for turtles or look at manatees or something, because I got to give it time to get to the bottom. I'm just one of those guys that's constantly on the move. Even though I'm fishing slow, my bait's still always moving.
Right. Our producer extraordinaire, Jeff Olson's the same way. He's got to be chunking and winding or it doesn't work. But
I thought you were talking about me, Peter.
Say that again.
I thought you were talking about me. Producer extraordinaire.
You're the greatest producer in the history of the world, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Subtle distinction there, but nonetheless. But no, that's great. The questions keep coming in, and I'm going to throw it back to you, Alex, for another one.
Yeah, we got, like Pete said, they are rolling in hot and heavy. So this one, Hank, is going to come from Crank on the message board. And Crank, put in your subscriber number. We'll get a undetermined prize sent out your way. And so, Hank, what Crank would like to know from you is, always being a great jerkbait fisherman in the past, how has forward-facing sonar evolved your jerkbait fishing, and has it hurt or helped your jerkbait fishing?
Yes, Hank. Answer this for Crank, Hank.
I would 100% tell you it has helped. I've caught a lot of fish off of them. I've got to see with that forward facing, my Garmin's, I've got to see how fish react to the bait, how they set up. One key thing that it's done for me, it paid off at the Gunnersville Classic, is I've been able to pay attention to fish and their location and know, okay, these fish are sitting out here in 16, they're not going to bite yet. But as soon as he's up there in 12, I know I can catch him. Like before, that wasn't available. So it was pretty much a guessing game and how long you had to wait and how long you had to stay. Now, especially this time of year, if I'm seeing fish that are in that 10 to 12 foot range, even if they're out over 20 foot of water, I'm pretty sure that I can get that fish to bite. Now, if he's out there in 18, probably not going to mess with him unless I throw a swim bait or something to him. So it's definitely helped my fishing, and it's definitely helped me catch some fish that I never would have thrown at or seen if I didn't have it. Like if I'm facing into a pocket and going to turn to go out to the point, and I turn the boat and all of a sudden there's 2 blobs at 60 feet sitting right in the middle of the pocket at 5 foot, and I fire over there to them, jerk down, they both go after it and catch a 5-pounder. That's a fish I never would have cast it at before because I didn't know it was there. And now I can see everything. I can see, simple rock piles that I didn't know were there, or I can see up under a dock, well, there's a piece of wood that's sticking off. It's 8 to 10 inches longer off the side of that pole, and there's a bass sitting on the side of it. So it's also given me confidence or locations, I should say, that I didn't know about even on my home lake. So when I pull up to a dock now and somebody says, says, I say, throw over there to by that third pole, because there's about a 2x4. It's about a foot longer sticking off. That's usually where he's sitting. They throw up there and catch one. They're like, how did you know that? Well, I didn't know that except for this forward-facing sonar. So it's definitely changed the game, and it's definitely helped me out a bunch.
How about retrieves? Have you altered your retrieves based on what you're seeing on forward-facing? Is it changing your cadence at all? Have you had to make adjustments or found some things that work better at times by using that?
Sometimes you change it up a little bit. When you get one chasing, you notice sometimes you may have to give them a shorter pop or a longer pause, or you like play with them, I guess, like playing catch with your dog. But what it has done for me is I've gone down a bank without it on and maybe caught one or two and wanted to see what I missed. So I turn it back on and I come through there and I notice, well, crap, I should have been out about 20 yards further. So I get out and then I throw to those fish and watch them react. And it will be a totally different cadence than what I'm doing. I have started to see that sometimes with a jerkbait, and I've said it my whole life, but you really don't pay that much attention to it, that sometimes less movement is more, and it attracts them. Sometimes that violent jerking, they don't want nothing to do with it. But when you're just kind of snatching, twitching it lightly, and it looks kind of injured, lots of times, especially this time of year, those big fish just come straight to it and never stop on the screen. And all of a sudden your line just tightens up, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool, man. And guys, if you missed it last year, Hank's got the jerkbait seminar of the century on Bass U TV, and you need to go watch it. He can answer all the questions probably that don't get asked tonight on tonight's show. I got to sneak one in here real quick before we go back to our guys on the board. Hank, we're gonna play a little scenario, okay? All right. You're gonna be thankful that this obviously is not gonna be true, but I'm gonna take all the jigs and all the jerk baits out of your boat. And this is at the Classic at Lake Hartwell. How on earth will Hank pull off number 3? How would you win? How would you expect to win if I took all the baits and jigs out of your boat?
I guess to replace them would be like a 5.5 square bull and a Berkeley swimmer, and I guess the third would be the new Picasso shock blade with the carbon blade. If you have never seen that, that thing's pretty wicked. That would be the 3 things that would go. I mean, that's 3 things that I'll probably have tied on anyhow. So you just took the other 2 options away, but I mean, I have just as much confidence doing those things as I do jerking and jigging, but I would prefer to catch them with a jerkbait or a jig. Now, I love to catch them on a square bill, any kind of bladed jig. I love to catch them on. I mean, that's what a lot of people forget, but pretty much 26 of the 29 whatever pounds the first day at Gunnersville came off a bladed jig in the grass, and I had to move before the crowd came, or I knew I wouldn't have it again any other day, which turned out to be bad because I don't think I caught but a couple more there anyhow. So, but that's how I would attack it.
Yeah, that's great. I don't mean to go gear geek right now, but there's a lot of new sweet colors in that square bill, wasn't there? I saw some slick trans type crawl colors and stuff.
They have that in HD colors, but I told people, I tell people all the time, and I was telling them at the show this week that, you know, Berkeley's really stepped up their game on their bait making and their colors. And I think we've all come to realize for so long, and y'all could probably maybe agree with me, you go into any big tackle store and probably 50 to 60% of the colors in there caught fishermen and not fish. You know, agree?
Word.
I mean, I think that's the truth. But at the same time, I tell people with the jerkbait aspect of things, the top 3 that I have the most confident in, if you don't have the same confidence I do, you're probably not going to catch as many fish as I do on it. And that's the way, I think that's what makes fishing special, where everybody can do it their way and have their thing. There's no right or wrong way if you have confidence, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's in charge of your boat and you're the one that's making the decisions.
Yeah.
So I guess the moral of that story is, if there's a Hank Cherry residual income coming off the bait, you should buy as many different colors as possible.
Well, I can tell you this. I can tell you this, and people have gone through my box. I've given this challenge. I guarantee you throughout the year, you will see me throw every single color that we have out. They are fish catching colors. It's not like pink and white Wonder Bread, nothing like that. They're just straight up good fish catching colors.
Yeah. And let's give him a thank you real quick. Let me thank you for bringing us some of the, let's just call it what it was, the discontinued Megabass colors that everybody was just fighting over and could not find. And thank God, Hank brought a couple of those back, and my God, did they catch.
Well, they do. I mean, look, there's nothing bad that I can say about Megabass. I've won a lot of money throwing them. I love the people over there. I don't talk bad about them. I work for Berkeley, so my idea with building the stunner was, let's build a great jerk bait and let's get the best colors we possibly can that are right, get them out to the public. Like, I'm going to throw them, I'm going to use them, I'm going to talk about it. There were several that I could have just really probably pushed on and not got released till maybe after Hartwell. But I think the whole point of this is growing the industry, and it starts with just being upfront about everything and giving people a good bait at a reasonable price. And I'm using it. And I wanted a bait. This is specific now. I wanted a bait that you could throw right out of the pack. That's one of the downfalls that I've had is some jerk baits. No knock on Megabass. Like I told you, they have a great product. I'm just not very keen on their hooks. That's all. That's it. Their paint scheme, bait, everything wonderful. But that stunner, I wanted people to be able to buy it straight out of the pack, tie it on, go fishing, and have good quality hooks, good quality paint job, good quality bait, and catch fish.
Right on, dude.
It's a great bait, and you said something that I wanted to dive in, because you said this time of year the wind doesn't matter, and why is that, and when does the wind matter when you're throwing a jerk bait?
So, like around my house, the wind matters the most, I think, to like the crankbait guys, because the wind pounds in there. It needs to blow hard, and you get mud lines, and the spotted bass really just kind of magnetate. They go straight to those mud lines and the big largemouth, and it activates feeding. So I think those fish are easier to catch, which makes cranking in the wind much easier. Now, when you're throwing a jerkbait, especially in the wintertime, if you're looking for those suspended fish, if you're not fishing it up real shallow, they're out there anyhow. They're going to adjust with the sunlight, cloudy days, sunny days, depending on how they are on a point or on a bank or whatnot. But you don't need as much wind to fool them. Now, you might not get as many bites, but still, it's cold. With my bait, you're doing that jerk, pause. And as you pause, that bait's got the little shimmy to it that we put in it. It's kind of slow sinking. So it's actually doing stuff when you're not messing with it. And I just think that too many people put it down when the wind doesn't blow, when that was probably the better option than going to like the shaky head or the football jig.
Great. Well, it's great stuff. Gives us all a great understanding of the wind. And I'm going to send it back over to you, Alex, because, man, they just keep ripping off with questions. They want to know more, Hank.
Yeah, Pete, we got a really good question that came in off of YouTube from Wesley Wardlaw. And Hank, what he wants to know is,
came in
how
4
do
times,
the fish
right?
act differently when the dam is pulling water versus when it is not pulling water? And how do you plan ahead for that? And then he adds, especially on those herring lakes in the Carolinas on a jerk bait.
You know, typically I don't fish far enough up in the river, and that's where it really turns the fish on and off in my part of the country. I don't fish far enough up in the river to worry about the current and the tide and all that. I pay attention a lot to whatever, if we're going to have whatever kind of wind we're going to have, whatever direction. And when I say that, because I said the wind doesn't matter that much, if I still know the direction, typically for me this time of year, the backside of a point where it's not getting the wind is where those fish load up. And that doesn't get as fish as much as that direct spot. But when you're chasing herring fish, you're chasing the fish that just does not want to sit still. And when they're on herring, you're not going to catch a fish that's on herring in 2 to 3 foot of water most of the time unless they run them up there. So I'm just looking for places, long flat points. I love red clay. I love sand. Just places where they can get, suspend. And if some of those herring push up out of that, that deeper water, come get some sunshine or just happen to come across that point, to where they can eat and take advantage of it. At Hartwell, a good place for it is, it'll be where the point runs out and then the timber hits. Typically, they won't be in the timber, and they'll be somewhere off the point right before the timber, and you can take advantage of it that way. But a herring bite is so finicky that one day you can load the boat and the next day you just scratch your head like, what the hell just happened?
Mm-hmm. That's herring. That's herring. That's where you're going. That's where you're going on Lake Hartwell, and we're all interested to see how that's going to play out. JK, I want to pass it to you to talk, I guess, about Lake Hartwell, or what is on your mind. Do you want to go into the pros panel right now?
Man, I would love to jump into the pros panel and have Hank and, of course, yourself, Pete, participate here at the end of this. We got a great pros panel tonight. Let's just dive into it. It's wintertime, right? And like I said, down here, even in Georgia, our water temps are it looks like we're going to have a winter. So we're excited about that. At least I am. So your favorite wintertime bait. I posed it to a lot of our best instructors, a lot of guys that we're working with this week, just our guys, and I got a good amount of answers back. Pete, I want you to keep a tally, the category and the tally. Let's see what comes out on top. What's the most, popular? It's your favorite wintertime bait when the water temperature gets below 50. Okay. So gotcha. John Murray, he says a blade bait. Fred Rumbanis, he's going jerk bait. He likes to throw his I'm a Flit 120. His boat on a jerk bait.
Frog.
Frog below 50.
Subsurface frog.
That's right.
Oh man. So then Brandon Cobb's gonna go with the crankbait. He's gonna throw his little dual hardcore 60, Yozuri 60. GDP, Greg DePalma, he just about gave me a seminar, and I said, man, I'm sorry, you got to pick one, Greg. Because he's like breaking it down like, hey, temperatures falling from 50 to 48, there can be a 6 spinnerbait bite, which is what he said, and that's really good intel. He had some others, but I made him choose one. He's going with a small finesse swim bait on a ball head jig, a lightweight ball head jig on light line. He's going a 3.3 size on like an 8 or a 3/16 size. Jig head. So thanks, GDP. Drew Cook, he's going with the trap. He's another one that didn't want to just give me one answer, but I told him he had to. So yeah, he's going the trap. My boy Patrick Walters, he's kind of cut out of the same mold of Hank. He's a jig and a jerkbait guy, and then I told him he had to pick one, and he said, "Man, you know which one, jerkbait." So another jerkbait choice for Patrick there. MDJ, Mark Daniels Jr., got back to me. Trap. Going with that trap. As a lot of these guys, too, it seemed like it was jerkbait or a jig, and they had to choose one, or a crankbait and a jerkbait, and they had to choose one. But Matt Airy, speaking with us this weekend, he's picking up his new spin in PJ. He loves the underspin. That's what he's going with. He's going to try to find that underspin bite. Again, this is their favorite. This is what they enjoy the most. Not necessarily what they're best at, but what they enjoy the most. Drew Benton, chalk another one up to the jerkbait. He's going with the suspending jerkbait. Clay Johns, Tackle Warehouse Rookie of the Year last year. Brown jig was his answer. Just a straight up brown jig. Mr. Herring, Rob Jordan, Lake Lanier, is going jerkbait in his little herring pattern that he loves so much, that he paints. Oh. Brandon Punk, love this one. Rapala jigging wrap number 7. That's a thing to play with when the water temperature gets below 50. Reached out to Ish. Ish Monroe got back to me. He said,
there's
in California, what's a water temperature below 50?
Ish got back to somebody. Round of applause.
But he did give me an answer, and he's going with the glide bait. He's gonna throw his S-Waver around. And who else do I got? I got one more. Oh yeah, KVD, Kevin Van Dam, deep diving jerkbait.
Well,
so now I want to hear yours. I'm gonna sneak mine in there. My favorite one to throw is a jig. But Pete, I want to hear yours, and then Hank, I want to hear yours, and then Pete, I want a final tally. I want the numbers, the data.
Man, it's interesting because first thing I do is I have a question. Is it falling water temperatures or rising water temperatures?
All right, it's wintertime bait, so we're definitely in the winter. So we're gonna go with when it gets below 50, falling down into the 40s.
I developed this mantra in my fishing that when the water temperature starts falling, I'm locking a jerk bait and a rattle trap in my hand.
Gotta pick one.
So you're asking me to pick one, and I love fishing a lipless bait, man. I just love it. I love ripping it. Getting those crazy deflection strikes. They're both at the top of my list. I'm going to go with the lipless bait. I'm joining that group.
Nice. How about you, Hank?
Boy.
Favorite?
I'm going. Yeah, I'm going 3-inch chartreuse grub with silver flake with an 8-ounce darter head.
Whoa. All right, we got to unpack this. Time out.
What?
Time out. I just asked him his favorite. He just gave something up, guys, and I don't think he was BSing us. All right, Hank, the seminar room is yours.
That's something that I learned here in the Carolinas. It's one of my, you said favorite ways to catch them. That's one of my favorite ways to catch them. Once it gets below 50 and stays there, that little bait can be swam through the water at all different depths, and you just would not believe the size of the bass that you catch on that thing. It is crazy.
Clear water too?
Yeah, just as clear water. It's just a chartreuse grub, silver flake. It's translucent grub. If I could have somebody go out to the garage and get one, but it's just something that I'm telling you, it will catch everything in the lake. You get lots of bites and you catch lots of big ones.
Okay. 1/8-ounce darter head, translucent chartreuse with silver flake grub.
Yep.
How long is the grub? Is it like a big grub? Is it a
3 inches?
Grub?
3 inches.
Little bitty guy.
3-inch. I'm writing all this down. I'm gonna have to try this.
Oh, dude, that's what we grew up on was the grub.
I know, but nobody throws them anymore. Everybody throws a little Tech or a power swimmer or something. It's just like the spinnerbait. The A-rig and chatterbait got everybody from a spinnerbait. Now they're eating spinnerbaits again. They got to eat it. And golly, how many guys with too many big egos won't even throw that? Like that Hank just said, they're like, I'm not gonna be caught dead.
Why are you talking about Ish? He got back to you. Relax.
I throw it on a 7-foot medium action rod, 10-pound fluorocarbon on a bait caster, and
on the bait caster.
Bite it. Oh yeah, they bite it.
What do you got to go down to like your Abu guy? So like an MGX, you got to go lightweight, like a smaller reel.
I throw it on my regular STX.
Okay.
Get out there.
10 pounds.
Yep.
So you're just cranking that in. I know you're not dragging it on the bottom.
No, I just kind of swim it back, kind of steady pulls of the rod, shaking the rod tip, and it's just kind of doing this. When you get a bite, it'll just be like a thing.
Yeah.
And there's
you're working with your rod.
Yep.
Working with
work with my rod.
Just like this, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I got a new toy to play with. Well, I got to go hunt down that grub first, but
I mean,
grub could be the key. That'd be kind of hard to find, but definitely yes. That would be my favorite way to catch them, hands down.
So what color is the grub again?
It's a translucent chartreuse with light silver flake in it.
Yeah. All right.
I
feel like we threw a lot of that back in the day. The 3-inch and the 5-inch Kalins in a color very, very similar to that.
Oh, that's cool, BTC.
Oh yeah,
man. The boys at Pure Fishing in Iowa right now, they're probably scrambling, trying to pour Hank his grub with news that it's getting cold. It's like, oh man, we got to get Hank his bait. He's gonna win.
Yeah, that's definitely a fun way to catch. But like I said, you catch everything. You'll catch some big slabs on it. You catch giant stripers and white bass and white perch and hybrids, and then you catch some really big largemouth and spotted bass on it.
Everything in the lake eats it.
It's definitely a bite getter.
Yep.
and it's a below 50 thing. It's like you want the water temperature to be in the 40s.
Yeah, if it get to that 44, if it get to that 44 about anywhere around here that I go, it's on the deck and it's going to get thrown the majority of the time.
Ooh.
Wow. You're going to be throwing that in a couple months, maybe.
There's probably a good chance that we'll definitely make a trip down there.
Ooh.
That's cool. Hank.
That's rad.
Thanks for sharing that with us, man. Like you gave up the truth on your favorite bait on the list. So Pete, give me the numbers, man. I guess we can or cannot categorize Hank with GDP with the small little swim bait, because that's what a Kitech is a little grub. But that's up to you, Pete. You're the dean. It's your test.
You're right. They are definitely in a similar category, but similar but different. So we're gonna. I mean, it all comes down to the two baits that dominate what guys with the pros like to fish that time of year, and coming in second place. Everything else is tied for one vote. The trap, the lipless bait is the second place finisher with 3 of us voting for that, and the jerk bait dominating this scenario when the water temperature starts to fall. That's the time. I think you might be influencing this vote, Hank. I'm not sure, but
I would have pegged Hank to say jerkbait, to say stunner, and he didn't. He gave us something juicy.
No, that's the bait. I mean, if you've been with me or guys around here that know about it and they've thrown it, they're probably mad right now. But I mean, it's definitely a really, really good fish catcher when the water's that cold.
That's awesome. Well, we're all going to be doing it, and and Alex, I want to give away a few more things, throw a few more questions to Hank, and maybe Jacqueline will come on and tell us a parting story before we let you go, Hank. But let's hit you with a couple more questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Hank, we had this one coming on Facebook, and just like you gave up that juice there, the Facebook crew wants to beat some more juice out of you. So I heard this rumor yesterday as well. What Rui Jose wants to know is, what did you pick up from the Buka Bullshad swim bait booth at the show this weekend? I think a couple of people saw you perusing around that booth, and they were curious what you might have picked up out of there.
Got 2 8-inch gizzard shad glide baits. I like the way the paint were on them. I really did. I thought they looked like they could just flop around on the shelf there. So I got some of there. But when I go to those shows, I like to go shop and see all the neat stuff that you don't get to see all the time. And some of the booths you go to, they want to, I guess, because of that, treat me, I'm a little special, want to give you something, but I want to pay for it because I know they're there to work and to make a living. And I don't show up at the booth just because I want something for free. I like to go buy. I've actually probably bought a lot more stuff than I really needed, but there was just some stuff there that was super cool, so I had to have it. But that those 2 gizzard shad, they just kept calling my name. I walked by like 3 times, and every time I looked over there, it's like they were flapping at me. I had to get those 2.
See, that's the difference between a classic champ and me. I show up to get free. we're trying to get a few free baits in the box.
We'll work for
Alex,
Senkos.
let me throw it back to you. What else you got?
Yeah, another good one that came in, Hank, was Mark Denny wants to know, what are some good Carolina tactics that you believe have helped you excel all across the country as you travel around in the Elite Series?
I like this question.
Wow. Definitely the jerk bait, because we have adverse fisheries, I guess. We don't have grass, but we've got big fish around Jordan, Harris, and the Raleigh area. Then we have the spotted bass, and then I go to lake not too far from the house and fish for smallmouth. So that's really helped the jerk bait skill. I think as far as things that have really helped, learning to, especially early in the year, learning to pick out fish on stumps, on those hard to see spots, because they'll tend to get in that 4 or 5 foot of water where Norman's pretty clear, but you can see the stump, but you can't see what's around it. And lots of times early in the season, you could take like a general wacky rig and skip the right stumps and land on them and catch those fish where before doing that kind of stuff, it would have been a crankbait or jerkbait right over the top of it. So it's allowed me to get more bites. I pay attention to more things in the water now with my eyes. So my glasses come in handy. And I just got on actually with Hobie sunglasses, and they have a lens called a Sightmaster that I've been playing around with for quite a few, I guess, I don't know, 3 months, babe, and been really impressed with that, with the things I can see. Especially like swimming my jig. I like to do so much, not necessarily a swim jig, but swimming a flipping jig. And when you can get up under a float, and I can pay attention if I have followers, or just seeing that brush pile that's on that back pole, just things like that. But being mentally tough for being in the Carolinas, because you're around so many guys that fish all the time, that fish professionally in the tournaments here, it is just one after another. And when you show up, you're fishing against the who's 9 times out of 10. And then the local guys are so good, they'll beat the crap out of you on a regular basis. So it's kind of one of those things. You can catch fish, and the Lake Norman area, or Lake Norman itself, as tough as it is and as weird as it is, I think you could take anything you learn there across the country and it make you more successful.
Great answer. I happen to have the Sightmaster Plus Hobies right here.
Yes.
And,
that is incredible lens.
And we also happen to have a promo code for tonight for people listening to the show. This code ends Friday, 1/22, and the code is Cherry20, 20% off Hobie eyewear. Dude, do yourself a favor. They're already a really, really good deal. I think they're about $80. Is that about right? And
That's about right.
Right about there.
And they're a fantastic polarized sunglasses for that. Like, really good price for that.
You can see good out of them. They float. They're comfortable, no headaches. They don't slide off your head. They're a supporter of the show, supporter of me, supporter of bass fishing, trying to make good eyewear at affordable prices. I'm telling you, I'm definitely impressed. And that Sightmaster lens, I'll put that up against anything else in the market.
You heard it right there. It is that good.
Yeah, it's amazing, and we love it a lot, and we're proud to be associated with Hobie eyewear as well. So guys, go check them out. Give them a shot. These are pretty awesome. I was able to use the Sightmaster all year last year, and incredible pair of glasses. They really block the light, super lightweight, like you said, Hank. But go check them out, guys.
Yeah.
And that's good stuff, Hank. Man, I really appreciate you coming, visiting with us, and sharing some of this stuff. But I had a quick question for you, because we had Matt Airy with us on the Ike Live show, and he was talking about fishing as a co. Him and Thrift and Andy Morgan all spent like a year fishing as co-anglers.
Andy Montgomery.
Okay, all went as co-anglers. Were you in that group? Did you spend time as a co-angler?
Nope. I don't think I've ever fished a major event of any kind at the back of the boat. I don't know the reasoning or logic behind
You're
that.
a control freak.
Well, there it goes. My wife said
And the truth.
See, I just signed with Rugged Road, and I got this big cooler over there. And as soon as we're done, I'm gonna put her back in the cooler for the night.
That part of the grand prize too.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, it is.
Is she gonna come with it?
With the cooler? I don't know. You want to go with the cooler? You want to go on vacation? She said I couldn't give her away. But no, I never did. I don't know why. It just never dawned on me to get in the back of a boat. I don't know.
It's all good.
Well, that trio was exceptional, and you're in that group. There's something about that region of the country that is building excellent anglers, and that you touched on it a little bit, but I mean, is it in the water? What's going on out there?
I don't know. Like I said, we all grew up beating up against each other. Me and Brian, Thrifty have fished a bunch of team tournaments together. Fished with Andy, know Matt real well. But it's not just them. It goes on and on for the list of guys that are around here that have fished professionally at one time or another, been successful here and there. What they're doing now, it's just, I think the fisheries we've had historically have been kind of tough to catch them on. And when they were good, like you really had to catch them, or you got your butt kicked. And I think we all just took our licks and took our learnings, and we've all learned a little bit from each other. We've learned a lot from experiences. But like I said, the same thing, like you take Andy with his dock fishing. You can't take anything with Brian because he's way out there. He's like intelligent wise, he's on another channel than we all are. He is crazy. He's OCD to the top of Mount Everest.
Yeah, he does.
But that dude, he just thinks on a whole nother level. And but all of us together, I think we have just taken those experiences and taken them on the road and just learned to multiply on them and have successful careers. But it is kind of neat though, when you look around, if you draw a circle around from my house, I don't know how many miles you got to go out, and all the guys that fish professionally and have been successful, and then all the guys that are in the area that are coming up trying to do it. I mean, it's just it's amazing. And you have all the good kids that are here that fish around with us, and they're going off to college on fishing scholarships. Drake Sturgill, one of them. Cole Huskins is another one. Y'all probably know his dad, Brian Huskins, builds Brian B's crankbaits. He's another one. I fish with him on the weekends. He's going to skyrocket up, but it's getting a chance. And right now, we have so many people getting into fishing. It's a great. Everybody wants to be in the tournaments. Like the Open's filled up so fast. This is filling up so fast. But I mean, it's a good time to be in fishing. It's as if you are just come on down to the Carolinas and fish for a few months and test your skills.
That's what we need to do. I know. Well, you've got 2 classic champs or titles. Hank Parker's got a couple. Are there any other classic champs from your region?
David Fritz. I think that's the 5. I think that's the 5.
5 class. Well, it's all in good company, and man, amazing stuff. And we're gonna be all pulling for you coming up on Hartwell. But I was, I want you to take a minute. Tell us, we're gonna give away. We've got a great question at the end of the show, and it's going to be our grand prize. We're giving away, courtesy of you. Tell us about the
a
grand
cooler
prize.
full of Jacqueline Cherry.
Cooler for Jacqueline. Oh boy. I believe the grand prize is coming from Rugged Road Outdoors. Wonderful company. If you want to take a minute to look them up on the internet, they have a wonderful cause that the owner's very much behind 100%, and they decided to jump on board and get behind me for the 2022-2023 season. The product is absolutely incredible. We actually got one of the soft coolers in the other day and a backpack, and I've had the 65, which I believe is what you're giving away. I've had it for a while. It holds ice, wonderful. You will not be disappointed with that cooler. And the best thing about it is your 4-year-old go out and pick it up. I actually have a picture of my 8-year-old holding it over her head, and she's a little bitty girl, little bitty thing. It weighs nothing. It keeps ice, and it really does it. It really does its job. Kind of a little background on the company. They basically take profits from the cooler business, and they dig wells for people to get clean drinking water, which is pretty cool. So if you're interested in it, if you want to look it up on the internet, they have a really cool mission statement, and
That's
I couldn't
awesome.
be happier than to be teamed up with them.
Right on. I like that.
Great call.
Awesome.
And we're pleased that you were able to bring this prize to Bass University, and we're looking forward to giving it away to one of the, because it's a very difficult question.
It's a
that is gonna
fantastic
be asked
question.
here at the end of the show, our trivia question. So we hope you guys will hang in there to the end. But I know, well, she's not going to come with the cooler, but can she pop on and tell us a story?
Can I come tell a story?
Oh dear. Okay. I decided to keep it like not the story that I really wanted to tell, because that would be very embarrassing.
So you're going to keep it PG for us?
Well, it's up to you. Tell them what you want. But
Go for it.
Embarrassing. Tell me your story.
Okay. All right, Pete. Well, I really, Carpenter, this is for you, because.
All right, I'm in.
All right, so I can't believe I'm telling you.
Are you getting shy?
No, I'm not getting embarrassed for you.
Oh.
So Classic 2020, right? Gunnersville. Like later in the night where we went by one of the bars, we said hello to everybody. Hank's, carrying the trophy. And we're in the elevator going back to the room, and you could just kind of he just completely decompresses. He was like, babe, I got to tell a funny story. And I'm like, okay. He goes, I'm not wearing any underwear. And I'm literally going, I'm like, where are we going with this? I'm not sure. And he proceeds to tell me he, I guess, got a little nervous on the way or whatever. So
I was in the elevator.
Yeah, he was
going down that morning.
Yeah, going down in the morning, and let's just say the underwear had to come off, and so the whole day, my boy is fishing commando.
Wow.
Yes. What is the classic? No underwear.
Yes.
My honey. That's a good story. You'll never forget it, Carpenter. That was for you.
That's fantastic. Thank you so
Guys,
much.
That's historic. We will be telling this story for 50 years from now. This is awesome.
It happened.
But it's real. You want a real story? That's about as real as you get right there. And you can't say it never happened to you. You can't ever say that.
Nope. Hank Cherry sharded in the elevator on the way to the classic.
I thought it was going to be air, but it was a little more than air.
Hank, where did the underwear get thrown?
I had to throw it in the trash.
All right. In the
Sorry,
bathroom?
Gunnersville,
Or...
we love you.
You know how much those underwear would be worth right now, Hank?
I don't know, but I don't
Ew, no.
Well, look, it happened on the elevator, so I had to go back upstairs embarrassed, or the bathroom was right there when I got off, and the bus was already coming to get everything, and I was already in a bundle, and I was like, I'm just going to go to the bathroom and take care of this. That's what I did.
So what day was this?
Huh?
This was day 3.
Yeah, this was the last day.
Oh,
last
my
morning.
God, that's amazing.
No, literally hoisting the trophy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had pants on.
Oh my God.
Did you feel different that day? Did you feel like just I don't know, just more connected with nature?
I don't know.
You felt free.
Yeah, freer.
For the first couple hours, it didn't feel real good, I promise you, because I wasn't catching them.
Well, that's true.
More connected with nature. Just
I'm just glad my sweatpants didn't rip.
That's awesome.
Wow. That must be a sense of freedom that we all aspire to, I guess.
Look at Pete. Pete's like, I never expected that story.
Thank you, Jacqueline. That was fantastic.
That was perfect.
That's a fantastic story. We're going to use that as a trivia question down the road. You realize?
You got to be known for something.
Yeah. The only classic champion ever known to not be wearing underwear. We're going to give away tackle packs and coolers and sunglasses,
underwear,
everything.
Yeah, and you can call dude wipes after that one.
Yeah.
Well, they made
the
general for Larry Nixon. They might make the commando for his next.
Hey, there you go. That'll work.
That's
good. Dude, that is brilliant.
Dude, that's
general. That's got to be the next jerkbait color, right?
Come on,
Commando.
Come on, Bird.
Commando.
Make it dark colored.
Brad, give us a call. We want a commission.
Oh my God.
That is beautiful. It's the right size and everything.
My mind's always on it.
Yeah.
Next buck to make, right? Come on.
Right.
Jacqueline, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. Only for y'all.
Yeah,
Nowhere else.
That's right. Nobody else was
You
listening.
tell Ike I wouldn't have done it anywhere else but with y'all.
We will tell them, and we appreciate you guys. Appreciate you both. Thanks so much for spending all the time with us, and thanks for being a great speaker for Bass University.
Yes,
our students love your seminars, and we really appreciate you. And Jacqueline, thank you for sharing him with us. And we want to wish you guys great luck this year, and good luck winning number 3.
Yep.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right, have a good night, guys. Thank you so much.
See ya.
Man, that was.
Here's the text message. Berkeley's already on it. The 3-inch translucent chartreuse darter grub. And
Hank's Commando grub.
Berkeley has a whole bunch of new SKUs to be working on now, I'm sure.
Oh, that's too good.
All right, let's hit that commercial, Pete.
That's historically good, is what that was.
That's pretty awesome. But hey, I want to give a shout out to Riz, who couldn't be here with us. He's down in South Carolina with our boy Jeff and Nate, and they're doing some Bass University production tomorrow. But they couldn't be with us tonight. But we just want to give them a shout out, and we're gonna take a quick break here, BTC.
Yes.
As I try to digest the story that she just dropped on us, and we're going to be back in just a few minutes, and we're going to be talking Bass University stuff, talking to you guys, and some more Bass University live in just a few minutes. We'll be right back.
Be back in 2 shakes for lamb's tail.
Moment on the water not spent fishing is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together. The One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
Tackle Warehouse is proud to sponsor the FLW Pro Circuit and is the official tackle retailer of FLW, providing proven bass fishing gear as well as the newest and hottest tackle. Our friendly and knowledgeable customer service staff can help you every step of the way. And we offer free ground shipping on orders over $50. Tackle Warehouse, everything for the bass angler at the lowest prices. Guaranteed.
I have to be constantly on the lookout for new techniques to stay on the top of my game.
Giant.
Some have been more successful than others.
Giant.
The finesse fingernail.
Happens every time.
The chain gang.
Broke it off.
The crow's nest.
Never let go.
And don't even get me started on tackle management, especially trying to stop rust and corrosion. Peanut butter.
Not good.
Motor oil.
Gotta keep the rust off all these baits.
WD-40.
Gotta keep the rust off.
Silica, toothpicks, Q-tips, the list goes on and on. I'm hard on tackle, I fish fast, I need my tackle organized and protected. I can't be worrying about losing baits to rust. And when it comes to tackle management, there's only one solution. Flambeau tackle storage systems with Z-Rust technology. The original anti-rust tackle box. Uncompromised clarity. Renowned durability. The infused anti-rust option that is FDA safe and free of harmful chemicals. The organization options are endless, but there's only one. One box, one anti-corrosion technology, one family-owned American-made brand, Flambeau Z-Rust Tackle Solutions. Preserve, perform, repeat.
Hurry up, Peter. Peter.
Welcome back. Right on time as usual. Welcome back.
Did you zip it up or no?
That was so fun, man.
Man, that was good stuff.
What a story.
We've been there, right, though, Pete? We've all been there.
I mean, we've all got one of those stories, and you were starting into yours, JK. What's your story on championship day?
I mean, the All-American in 2020, I puked my guts out. I had to before I could get in the truck and leave. So sorry, Bob. Right off your front porch, man.
Yeah, but at
Right
least you
off
didn't shit your
porch.
pants.
Keeps my gut. But I.
That's so awesome. I've had so many of those near close encounters that didn't turn into a disaster. And, but gosh almighty, I mean, it's been so close so many times.
If he
BTC?
needs a nickname, he's got one now.
What, Skids?
Commando.
Oh, Commando. Yeah.
I attribute the win. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Me? Nah.
Yeah.
Brian doesn't care.
No, not really. Not that I could think. Give me a minute, but I can't think of anything in that arena.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick one, and you guys might remember it. But I fished with a girl in Arkansas, and we were fishing on riprap in a real crowded area, and I always, the bathroom situation always comes up, and I'm like, look, if it's okay with you, I just tell you when I got to go. You tell me when you got to go, and we'll go. And she's like, cool. She grew up with brothers, and she comfortable in that arena. But we were in the riprap, and it's crowded, lots of cars. And finally, after about 3 or 4 hours, we leave to another spot, and we go into this very natural, no cars, no public, no nothing.
Soft music playing, birds chirping.
It's very romantic. I'm pitching a jig into these reed heads.
Sure you are.
And it's just, there's slick as glass. There's so calm. And I'm pitching along, and she's like, Pete, oh my God, I gotta go. There's nobody around. I finally gotta go. And I hear her clothes rustle, zip, zip. I hear her moving around. But I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, obviously. And I feel the boat move like that. And I felt like, she must have, like, she's sitting over the side, And so as soon as the boat went like that, it went just like that. My jig goes thunk, and I snap set the hook, and I turn to the side, and I flip the 4-pounder right on top of her.
Oh my God.
She's screaming. I'm trying to collect the fish and look away, and she falls into the belly of the boat, and the fish is flopping, and she's flopping around. It couldn't. I promise you, it was like somebody scripted it in a movie. It was like as soon as that boat moved, that fish. and it was on. But she was a good sport. We laughed. We talked about it on stage at the weigh-in. It was
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'd like to analyze this further, Pete. I heard 4-pounder. I'm gonna just bash you this 4-pounder flipping. It's your strengths, man. It's your strengths.
Should I? I think I should just throw. You made a good point with Hank. If you had to get rid of all that other, I think I just need to get rid of all that other stuff and just.
I think you already did. What are you talking about?
My boat weighs 5,000 pounds. I mean,
well, it ain't from gas.
Done it,
Brian. It ain't from too much gas.
Physically, I can't let go from the 50 different colors of jerkbait and crankbait I carry with me.
I don't know if you. I think you're being exaggerating. I feel like you got a much better handle on it than most people, Pete. I really do.
Well,
I think you do.
I feel like I feel good about this year's New Year's resolution. I feel good about it. I feel like I'm excited to try to advance what I've been working on for the last few years. It's pretty cool,
Yeah.
Pretty cool time.
Hey,
I still love doing all the other stuff. I like throwing a jerkbait and a crankbait, and I love all that stuff. But I recognize that when I'm in the check line, it's a flipping stick in my hand.
Right.
But Alex, how about you?
Pete, when I'm in the check line, it's a rainy day in hell. I guess you could say that because it doesn't happen too often.
Are you with or without the commando scenario?
I have had a couple of those scenarios myself, but thankfully not on tournament morning or anything like that. I have never flipped a 4-pounder in the boat onto my co-angler, whether they were using the restroom or not. So I'm still behind you in that department. But I mean, yeah, what a couple of stories. I feel like we should just have a set a topic and tell stories all night for one of these shows. These are hilarious.
Potty
You're right.
University.
Story time episode, man. We got all kinds of people that can tell stories. Pete's got the best of them. So out story time.
Hey, when you spend 20 years out, trying to make it, trying to win tournaments, there's crap that goes down. You're traveling around the country. You're broke most of the time. I mean, the stories just start stacking up. But it's all good. It's all good. And I love traveling with Ike this year because I got a whole new set of stories.
Yeah, he's
we
never
got door
boring.
jams exploding and people running out of the house and whole new set of stories to go after this year.
Oh yeah, dude. It's always an experience with them.
No doubt.
For sure.
I forgot we were talking about fishing and important parts of the previous year and Brian Schmidt stayed with us this year. And I forgot that he was with us at Lake Oneida, and what a neat deal that was because Brian spoke for us. I've known him a little bit, but to get to know him a little bit better was really cool. Really good experience, like hanging around with him and Ike.
Yeah,
and
Schmidt's
conversation about fishing, and two incredibly strong minds. Tackling a body of water completely differently. Really, really neat experience.
Yeah, I feel like Brian's like the universe's balance to Ike. You know what I mean? Like, all right, you got that. We got to bring this in here over here. Let's balance this stuff out.
You're exactly right, man. He is as cool as the other side of the pillow, man. He just everything is easy and calm, seemingly.
All shucks.
And yeah, but yet intense. Like Brooks, who practiced with me and also practiced with Brian, was commenting about, he was telling me about how the practice went, and his intensity just would not deviate from the sonar work at practice. Just so persistent and scanning for hours, looking in no man's land just to find the little bittiest piece of something that might hold a fish, using his forward-facing sonar to ID fish and back off, never even make a cast to him. Just really interesting the way that the three of us really attacked the same body of water in different ways, But
yeah, and you ended up in the check line, right?
Yeah, like I said, I performed exceptional in that tournament. I finished 15th place, but I could only manage third place in my own house.
Yeah.
That's like murderer's row in that house.
Yeah.
It's pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. But we had some murderers, so to speak, this past weekend at the Bass U. We really had some super talent with some amazing seminars. And Brian asked me this question. I'm going to pose it to you, JK. What was your favorite this past weekend?
Who was your favorite?
Man, that's a really good question. Gosh, there's things I'm excited about, the fishing world getting their hands on in a lot of them. But to be quite honest, I mean, glutton for that big bait, because it wasn't just a big.
That was mine.
Big swim bait. It wasn't just the big swim bait. It was go big or go home. Know when to upsize your bait by Brian Thrift.
Yeah.
And guys,
that's the one that got me, JK.
We have reached a point where I don't know how Airy talked about this with me, Matt Airy. He's like, I don't know what you've done to get Brian to give up so much of this stuff, but I'd like to figure that out, because this guy has gone from one of the most tightly kept secretive guys.
For
to
sure.
Some of the juice that he is giving up to you guys is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I think it's just, maybe it's a lot of success and he just realizes he's still gonna, you know, it's not about the baits, but like Brian's given up some mods, like that mag draft mod.
Yeah.
He's not bass. He doesn't need to do that, but he did, you know.
There were several,
and
man.
Sharing these oversized crankbaits over. I mean, dude, it's like so many different bait categories in that seminar.
Yeah.
And I mean, he did it with the fall fishing thing, and Brian has just become, to be quite honest with you guys, I call him every year if he doesn't call me first to want to work with us. So
100%.
we've come a long way with Brian, from the old school dock skipping seminar and the Tamiki Air Frog seminar from way back in the day.
Air frog?
I'm really glad that he's he's a senior instructor or, professor at the Bass University. He's bought in and he really brings it, man. That had to be my favorite. If I had to pick one, it's tough to pick, guys. There was a lot of awesome stuff. Ike's Gilly thing, people are torn. Is it a gimmick? Is it not? I'm excited about that bait. I think it's going to be a surprisingly good bed bait, but Ike talks a lot about.
Did you just pin it as a bed bait?
That I'm not even going to give you guys the trick because I think you should pay for this kind of stuff. But like, there's a trick that Ike makes that bait to look more lifelike than any other bluegill bait out there, and it's not just swimming it. Like, he blew my mind with that modification that he gave up. Ike did. But I'm sorry to be so long-winded, Pete. I could literally sit here and talk about our seminars and a synopsis of it for hours. Like, just some of the stuff that just blows your hair back. And that's what you get, man. That's what you get with these guys. So, great weekend, for sure.
Well, Peter, since I'm the producer, I'm going next. I just decided. But basically, unfortunately, it's everything Justin just said. Brian Thrift's seminar was the one I got the most out. I got a lot out of. There was a lot there this weekend, but that was fantastic. And Pete, I'll let you go on in a minute about what Matt Herron ended up giving up, which was pretty insane. I did not catch Mike's seminar about the gilly, but I could tell you that bait is super, super legit. You know what I mean? Like, it comes through pads. Like, I've thrown that thing in pads, and pads kind of suck. You know what I mean? Like, it comes through pads better than a frog, and then hits you a little opening. It's a sick bait.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna get bit. It's the right profile. It's lifelike. You can go with the natural kind of green pumpkin color. You can get dude. I'm telling you, I'm gonna put that thing. I'm not a great bed fisherman, and I got a little better last year. But I'm going to catch sight fish with that gilly this year. I honestly think if you're lucky enough to be a tournament fisherman listening to this episode right now and you don't take me seriously, you're missing. You're gonna miss out because that bait will be the best sight fish bait there is for at least 1 year until people get onto it.
Really?
But this sight fishing season, the first time they see that, the lifelike colors, dude, I'm gonna catch a sack on that thing. I really believe it. It's powerful. Just from other stuff I've seen in my past experiences from some of the best sight fishermen, John Cox, been in the boat with JT Kinney doing it. He's practically who taught me. But man, I'm telling you, that thing's gonna be powerful.
Peter has left the building.
Oh, I'm back.
Hey, Pete.
No, I agree. We great seminars, and you know what, JK, we've been in this situation before where guys want to give a seminar on a bait, and I'm like, oh man, we can't allow it. You know how we get. We're as my wife's giving me some baits because I asked her to bring them up because it looks like she sharded on them. They're all wet. They fell into the dog bowl.
I don't know what's worse.
I wanted to get, because after Ike's seminar, man, I signed up. I got him. And I.
That's
and
the
I
wrong
got,
size.
I got all the sizes.
That's the wrong one.
Yep.
What's the right one?
That's the wrong one.
I don't know.
Shell, Jake's calling me.
Just messing with
I'm
Pete.
reaching out to my wife. Sorry, guys. My son's trying to break through the live show. But but this is I mean, they're just beautiful baits, and the way that Mike has figured out
What do they look like outside of the
designed
package?
it to rig it so many different ways is just phenomenal. I can't wait to throw it. And so my point is, I've had guys come in. I'm like, oh man, we cannot let them do a commercial for this bait, and he did, and he like gave the goods on why he designed it and how he designed it and all that kind of stuff. But it's a fantastic tool, and so I picked them up. But I love that seminar. I love learning about his grass ripping technique. It is a staple. Everybody's got to go back and see. JT Kenny, I told you about this, Justin. Results. Like JT speaks like facts. You want to win, you want to catch them wherever you're at, or get in the top of the tournament, or just be consistent. JT cuts through all the crap right to the goods.
Yep.
And I love that about both his seminars. And you know, he was amazing. Thrift was, you know, one of our best speakers. But I gotta say, and we had Wes Logan was amazing. With his passion and his enthusiasm about river fishing and shallow water grass fishing. Really, really strong. But my favorite is the Matt Herron. Man, the talking about how he's using Humminbird 360 and Mega Live to scan docks on your outboard. Amazing. Just phenomenal.
Give it all up. Make them pay for it. Make them pay for it.
It's truly amazing. Altering his settings in the 360 to make it more efficient, and using his forward facing sonar. You got to go see it. It's going to be released, and it was blow your hair back moment, because personally for me, I love dock fish. I'm a dock, you know, I mean, if I can get on a dock pattern, I'm in. I'm dropping everything else. That's the way I'm going. And
he's like Bugs Bunny. What's up, Doc?
And he told me a way to be more efficient, right? Taught us all a way to be more efficient. So my favorite, Matt Herron, hats off. Thank you. Great one. Great weekend. I can't imagine what's going to happen this weekend.
So who we got?
It's gonna be killer. We got Patrick Walters in the house. He's gonna get, well, I already gave you guys this at the beginning of the show, but I'll give you 3 seminars of the 12 that I'm looking forward to the most. Patrick Walters top 5 for pre-spawn. That's gonna be a good one. Gosh, this is gonna be really, really tough. John Cruz, the right jig for the job. He's gonna break down kind of all the different types of head designs and what just help you, for all of us who have a finesse jig and a football jig and flipping jigs and like 5 or 6 different jigs or more. He's going to really help us think through how to use those to be more efficient and to be better strike to catch with all of them. And gosh, this is because I can't wait for Drew Cook's sight fishing seminar either. But Brandon Cobb, he's going to tackle this tournament strategies one, run and gun versus slow and methodical. You know, I would know Brandon as more of a run and gun kind of guy, but you know, he won back. He didn't win back to back. He won like 2 in a month. He won at Hartwell and then he won at Fork.
Yep.
One was where he's normally known to be a run and gun guy. He was slow and methodical, right? He was slow and methodical, put himself in an area and picked it apart and won. And then couple, you know, a month later or whatever at Fork, the dude's running and gunning and winning. So he's won both ways. So he deserves the right to do this seminar, and he's going to teach us on when to do either. You know, what situations call for you to slow down and find your best area and grind it out, and the other ones to run a pattern or run, isolated cover or whatever it may be, and hit as many spots all over the lake as you can. So that's always a fun conversation. It's kind of high next level, and I think that's why I'm looking forward to it the most.
Awesome. Well, come by and join us. I put the link in the IMs for you guys to go over and get yourself tickets. Come join us. It's going on. It's going to be going on real soon. Riz is going to be there. Jeff, Nate, everybody's going to be there. I have another story.
What?
Okay.
I got a story. I was gifted. Well, here's the situation. I was gifted a couple baits for this holiday season, and this was the bait company. And as I opened up my package that I was gifted on the live show, I was to receive 2 of these amazing glide baits.
Yeah.
And
nice.
As I opened up the packaging, and I was thrilled. This is the only one I received. So
what
my question is that we gotta be detectives here. How did this happen to me?
Oh my
These
God.
packages arrived. They arrived. Now I'm going to take you through the timeline.
Yes, let's do that.
These packages arrived at Brian Stockwell's house. They were moved from Brian's house to the studio where he is now, where he interacted with Riz and Ike and who knows who else. And then these packages
and other deplorables
eventually delivered to me. No, they were given. Wait a minute, they were not shipped. They were given to Riz to deliver to me, along with some other.
So who was the
batchy
last
stuff.
person that had them before you got them?
Who is the culprit? Who do you think did it?
So who gave it to you?
I hear Brian backpedaling as if he's not the culprit.
Backpedaling. I asked you a question.
The culprit.
By the way, this
who.
but this segment brought to you by Founders Dirty Bastard. Last week, this was for Jason
First
Christie
off,
on
you got a
YouTube.
trout one, and you were supposed to get a bone white one and a shad one, Pete.
What? I did not even get the colors that I was supposed to get.
Pete, Pete, stick to your New Year's resolution, Pete. Your New Year's resolution, Pete. We're trying to help you.
Is he trying to help me? You tell me, people. Is Brian the culprit? Is he the one?
I've got a theory. I don't think there's another person, like somebody outside the circle that wasn't supposed to get one who ended up. I think somebody who probably wants 2 of everything, and can't just live with just having one of a certain color. I bet somebody who wants 2 of everything probably ended up with your glide baits.
It could be that.
Well,
Could
be
be
specific.
that. Could be-
Okay.
It could be. Yeah, I think it's Ike. You're right. It's definitely Ike. We all know Ike. It's
Alex, who swiped my glide baits? Who
Pete.
do you think swiped them?
Somebody
What
who
I
loves
think,
you
Pete,
and wants you
is
to.
that our founding fathers came up with a lot of great amendments to the Constitution, and my favorite is the 5th one, and that's what I'll be using here to get out of this question.
Dude, I'm telling you, I threw that bait 2 weekends ago. Oh man, is that thing sweet? It rides high, which is what you want. Ask BTC the expert over there.
Well, I'm not.
And you
not hardly.
can weight it if you need to, if you need to get it down.
So,
but that thing's got some drawing power. There's a lot of good glide baits out there right now. I'm telling you right now, that clutch, I'm going to be catching some donkeys on it.
Yeah,
you know
so-
what I wish I could do, Pete? I wish I could take that white one, that bone one, and go back to Mexico with it. You think I might catch one there?
Yeah, I think you might, but I think you're deflecting from the truth.
I don't know.
Who do you think stole the Dean's baits?
I'm not going to accuse anybody of stealing. But if there are baits available I don't necessarily think questions were asked to get to the bottom of it. It's just like, oh, okay. You know, that's why my glide baits stay with me in a special watertight box.
Yeah, Ron.
What's going on? I feel like I'm getting answers like people are afraid to talk to the police, you know?
Right.
Like, come on, man. We got to help the community here. We got to know who the culprits are.
Look at the bite marks on them.
PTC?
Possession is
who stole these baits?
Possession is 2/3 of ownership. Isn't that what they say?
No.
Or 3
9/10 of the law.
Looks like you got more than your New Year's resolution would allow. I think you should probably even put that one up on a shelf or give it to somebody who would, use it and appreciate it and throw it.
Alex, would you please make a wanted poster to put on the Bashing social media pages?
Wanted.
Absolutely. I'll get on that tomorrow. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
The case of the disappearing glide baits.
Pete, we'll work on it, but JK, to go back to what you're saying, so that bait, the hinge pin sits. I talked to the bait maker yesterday. I don't know, day before, whatever. It's it had to be yesterday.
Right,
yeah, that hinge pin is left, right, and high. You can pull that hinge pin. It'll expose a chamber that you can weight that bait if you so choose to get it to run a little bit deeper. And if you go to the Clutch Instagram page or TikTok channel, you'll see from this past weekend Chris Zaldane at a show throwing it.
Yeah,
in a tank.
That's cool.
And saying, "I'm taking this one with me."
Yeah.
Guggen don't make one like this. I'm going to take this one with me.
And what's cooler, if you guys really can't figure out why we all got them, there's this Bass U subscriber out there. His name's Josh. He's got Clutch Swim Bait Company, and he decided to gift us with those. And, he's been riding with us for a while on Bass U. I think it's pretty cool that guys like Josh are coming out from, learning bass fishing through Bass U and then making baits like this for people to have fun on. And the proof's in the pudding. This bait's already caught a lot of people, a lot of big ones. So there's a lot of glide baits that do. I was just holding up this one. This one was in Brian Thrift's seminar. This same exact one. That was one of his faves.
Is that Ronald?
Josh, did you by any chance put tracking chips in the eyes of your baits? Maybe
we need it. We need to check.
Call me.
But
we got light fingers.
But Justin, I'm glad you pointed that out. That's not the only. I'm sorry. What?
I said if Brian took them, you'll get them back. If Riz took them, you'll definitely get them back. If Ike took them, you're not.
You ain't saying them. But JK, I'm glad you brought that up. That's not the only Bass U subscriber that's got a product out there. We go back a couple years. Our guy in Florida, Silent Flip through Cortland. Justin Jones, Captain Justin Jones, based off of a Bass U seminar, listened to a Bass U seminar about the noise that braid makes, came up with a formula for a quiet braid and got Cortland to make Silent Flip. And,
that's right.
Another Bass U sub.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
I know there are multiple pros and some that aren't sponsored by Cortland who abide by that Silent Flip in grass for sure.
A buddy of mine, that's all he throws is
happens here first.
That's right. Buddy of mine
a lot of it
who makes big baits, glide baits, Keith Thomas at Black Talon. That's what he throws. That's all he throws. Throws his glide baits on that with a leader. And he makes amazing baits. And go check him out because Keith's about to drop some this week.
I can never catch up to those drops.
Yeah.
But I need to spend money on baits.
They're really good, dude.
Boxes keep coming in.
Black Talon.
I'm done. I'm done spending money, at least through January.
Well,
Pete, just be happy you got one.
I'm not.
No,
I'm displeased, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. I did happen to see a 19-pounder caught on social media.
What?
On a glide bait. Just amazing catch, a 19-pound bass.
When did it happen?
Nuh-uh.
I just saw it today. So
why was it in black and white?
I'm not sure. It was on TikTok. There's still stuff on Insta.
Stop it with the TikTok, Pete.
The social media by storm this month was that 14.8 pounder out in Texas. Tyler's Real Fishing. Tyler Anderson. He's got the big YouTube channel. Fished in college. I think he caught like a 14.8 pounder off of an A rig.
All right, who's slamming something on the table?
Oh, sorry. Gosh, I forget we're even on a podcast.
That's all right. It's been all night.
It's his nervous tick because he knows he stole the glide baits.
Right?
I'm sure with me, does anybody want to ask any questions? I feel like I've just been jabbering.
Yeah, there's a ton of them.
We were on a show.
Did you ever ship the glide baits to me that were supposed to come to me?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
I told him to ship all the Jersey ones, which was 8 glide baits, to Brian and not the studio.
Thanks for watching tonight, folks. We'll be back next week.
Send my 2 to me. I'll buy you a glide bait.
We're gonna get to the bottom of this. We will keep you posted, but we have an amazing giveaway, and I think we have waited long enough. We've got a terrific question and a Facebook like and share. If you haven't done that yet, do like and share us over on Facebook. We got a prize for you guys too. BTC, what's up?
Alex was going to ask. We got like 30 questions that people asked Hank that they didn't get answered, so we're going to answer for him. Go ahead, Alex.
Sure thing. Pete, I did see a good suggestion come in from you on YouTube. So Anthony Guy says, you need to ask Becky because if she has a new Louis Vuitton bag, you know she probably sold those suckers on eBay.
Oh, that's a great. All right. We're looking into it.
But we did, like Brian said, there was a lot of good questions that came in. One I kept seeing on YouTube. I'm trying to find, I remember the question. I want to get the guy's name correctly, but what his question was, so, he wanted to ask Hank, if you go through a spot and let's say you're throwing a pro blue color jerk bait and you catch 25 of them and the bite slows down a little bit, would Hank or Pete or Justin, would you guys switch to a different color, maybe like a more translucent or maybe a shot color to try to get a couple extra bites out of that school?
First choice for me is color. Whenever I'm around a school of fish like that, my very first change once I don't get a bite is color, and that happens quick. I'm telling you right now, when you're catching them on every cast and all of a sudden you go 1 and then 2 casts without a bite, do not make a third. Switch, make the color change, make that first. That's my choice. Next is sound chamber.
Yeah, but what color?
Next is size.
Pete, he's saying on that color change, are you going another natural, more translucent color, or are you going shock color? Shock.
Yeah, it depends on the scenario I find myself in. But if I'm using a translucent, clear color, yeah, it's probably not going to be that shocking, but it will be. It will be, not like if it's an overcast, rainy, windy day, you're going to be changing between shocking colors. But in that situation, I might do something like throw a purple hue on the tail or a chartreuse tail on the bait. Just something to give them something to target in that scenario. But color first, sound second, size third.
Size is always first, Pete.
I use color changes in the middle of the melee. I don't like, maybe it's just, I think that it keeps them biting a school like that. I mean, I don't remember the last time I sat there and caught 25 in a row. It happened twice last year, where I was cranking, actually, both times. And I would colors every 6th or 7th fish, probably. And I mean, back-to-back casts, but I don't know. It just seems like you can keep them biting better when you are doing it in the middle of the melee. But if they quit biting on me, like I'm with you, Pete. You got to change sound to maybe even try a different lure action if you have to stay on the same school, like if you're protecting it. Over here in land, you don't get 25 in a row. You get like 6 if you're actually lucky, and then you got to leave and come back, hope nobody hit them in the time that you were gone, and hope that they set up.
If I
because
catch
if somebody messed them up at the wrong time, and everybody go ahead and listen to me on this. If you don't give the fish enough of a time to reset up, you can ruin them for the rest of the day. So if you're waiting for that buddy to get off the point and you want it, don't just go straight over there when he leaves, because you'll ruin that spot for the rest of the day. Just a little tip of advice I've seen many of a good spot get ruined, and you can't even revisit it because it's, it just, spotted bass are stupid anyway. So, I mean,
well,
they make
that's it.
mad.
It's interesting that you say that, JK, because Lee C asks, why did JK steal Pete's Clyde bait?
Oh my gosh.
Good question. But no, it's good. The only problem with your strategy there, or not a problem, but that you got to deal with, is when you have a big boat tournament. My gosh, if you leave it, it's gone. And the chances of you getting back on it are slim to none.
Yep, I made that mistake.
You made that mistake before?
That you followed BFL. I found a school that would have probably won the tournament because our weights were so low. Yeah. I think it's 16 to win a 200 boat field. It was fishing that bad. And the next morning, I know it was a different day, but the next morning on the way out, I went and in 2 hours had 19, 20 pounds with one bait change that I didn't make. I lost a 6-pounder. I didn't get bit for like 45 minutes. And all I could think about was the swim jig bites that I was getting 3 or 4 miles north. And I knew I was on a community hole. So like I knew there was at least 6 or 7 other boats that if they saw this spot open, they would run over there. And I only had one in the well, lost that giant. And then I ran away, and I get up to the creek with all the swim jig fish. And I didn't realize it because I didn't pay close attention to the tackle warehouse event that was there the week before, but it was the creek Bobby Lane was in. And so it's a tiny little creek, and there were 8 boats. I mean, it looked like a Jersey Winter League. They were just everywhere. And so I hightailed it, immediately turned around. I think I stopped and fished for like 10 feet, and I said, nope, this isn't it. Ran back down, and literally the spot's open. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to settle down and figure them out. And a boat comes out of the other arm where I'm coming back down to, and just slides in about 20 seconds before I could get there. And I never could get on that spot the rest of the day.
It's the difference between a guy that's going fishing and a guy that's fishing in tournaments. It's a different strategy, as you guys can see. Because, man, if you were by yourself on that lake, leave them, and then come back. But in a tournament scenario, man, the pressures and the all the intricacies of the decision making start stacking up. Gets trickier. So, but interesting stuff. Great question, Alex. Yep. What else you got?
Yeah, Pete, this was actually a good chance for you to model a little Gills gear for us here. So Wawa Hoagie wanted to know if those were suspenders built into your shirt or if that was just the design on your shirt.
This is the design on the shirt. This is, we're going to be wearing these shirts at the Bassmaster Classic at the Bass University booth.
That shirt?
Co-branded Gills and Bass University. But this is one of the styles that we're going to be wearing, but these are not suspenders. It's just,
pretty sure
just very casual, man.
Those are his flipping stripes to remind him while he's fishing to stay within his strengths. Don't put down the flipping bait.
Stay within my strength. I think I may get that tattooed on my forearm,
You don't forget it that way. There you
go. Yeah.
Well, what is it again?
Stay within my strengths.
Never give up.
Stay in your
Stay
wheelhouse.
within your strengths. Told you not to be stupid, you moron. Remember that from Howard Stern? Had that audio clip from his dad berating him as a little kid. Told you not to be stupid, you moron.
I remember that well.
It's a long time ago.
I know. He's still active. Are you listening to Howard these days?
Absolutely not. Nah,
really?
Not in 20 years or 30 or something. Yeah.
I promise you, in my opinion, he's still, I think, the best interviewer out there.
Okay.
He's really strong at that. His skits go off the charts and all kinds of craziness that
what kind of guests does he have?
Every guest that's in mostly entertainment is
that.
where he lives. That's the space he lives.
So it's Hollywood stuff.
Yeah, movies, music,
I'm
that
out.
kind of stuff.
I'm out.
Mostly.
Yeah.
But no, I still listen to him all the time.
That's cool.
Sirius Radio.
Yep.
Alex, next question.
Next question for this is a true or false for Pete. Hellabass wants to know if braid came from Pete's old sail rigging lines, because Brian claimed he invented it, but we had a couple quarrels with that.
That's true. When I started using it at first, I could drop my weights down, and I would, like, the orders that I gave my my people was sound of shells.
Set my people free.
Sound of sand. That's what you would use back then. But no, it's me. I invented it.
You invented it?
What's that?
What was the first braid?
Wow. Was it Power Pro? No. Well, no, braid was, I don't know, but I think braid was one of the first lines used, but we went away from it.
Yeah,
like there was Dacron, there was all kinds of lines before monofilament came out. Monofilament came out and revolutionized lines and fishing. And I don't, this is a Ken Duke question because he probably would know, but I think we've gone back. We didn't realize the advantages of it back then. It was like we were looking for the invisibility component. And that's why mono became the way to go. And but now we've gone back.
It's because they didn't know how to tie a braid the mono leader either.
Right.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of lines like that. I don't know if they would be braid, but maybe they were. Maybe they. I don't know. That's before even my time.
I think they were called rope.
They were what?
That was called rope.
Rope.
Yeah, it was rope back then, Pete. I remember braid surfacing somewhere in the 90s. I gotta say it's like early mid 90s maybe when braid surfaced that I recall.
Was it spider wire? What was the first one in the recent times that took us by storm?
First person to offer any answer wins.
I thought it was Power Pro, but I could be wrong for sure.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Ken Duke, tonight's trivia question does not come from the brain of the mighty, great, and powerful Ken Duke, and did indeed stump that mighty and powerful brain of Ken Duke.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good one, guys.
Stumped me. Pete got it in about 4 minutes.
Did he really?
Yeah, in about 4 minutes. But the thing is, he didn't guess a lot of wrong answers. He did a lot of calculating and problem solving. He got it in four. The answer is going to be 3 names, and it only took him 4 names. So bravo to Pete.
Yeah, that's good, dude.
Well, I think we might be time to give this prize away. What do you think, Brian?
Yes, Peter.
Yeah, we're going to be talking for a little bit. I doubt anybody's going to get it that fast.
Yep.
Go ahead, roll it out, JK.
We'll take a few questions if people can't get it. So I'm gonna throw it to you, JK. It's a great question, and this is for the grand prize, a $300 value, and courtesy of our boy Hank Cherry. So I'm gonna throw it to you, JK. Let's go.
Yep, Alex, you got the answer I texted you?
I sure do.
All right, here's the question, guys. So this Bassmaster Classic is going to be the 4th ever Bassmaster Classic at Lake Hartwell, dating back to Alton Jones' victory in, I believe that was 08-ish. You also had Casey Ashley's championship. You also had Jordan Lee winning his back-to-back. His second one was at Hartwell. So this is number 4. What 3 Bassmaster Elite Series pros are competing in their 4th classic at Lake Hartwell? So after this tournament, there will be 3 pros who have competed in all 4 of those Lake Hartwell Bassmaster Classics. Can you name those 3 anglers?
What an amazing question because it's, it's over a span of how many years, JK?
180.
It's 14 years, 13 years. Guys, this Rugged Road cooler, you heard it, man. It's, this is a really awesome prize, $300 cooler. What did he say his little boy could pick this thing up? It was so light.
His daughter.
Dude, I got to get one of those. I'm struggling to get my cooler in. Like, I'm the idiot who fills up his cooler before he puts it in the truck, rather than put it in the truck and then fill it up. I do it every time. And I'm like, God, why did I do that?
It's funny. I got a Roland Martin story about this. This is interesting.
Oh, please. Nobody's got it.
He's so smart and interesting. We're next to each other filling up the gas pumps, and we both got ice, and we're putting it in our boats. And I do what I always do is I throw the ice on the ground to break it up so that I can fit it into the cooler. And he looks at me and he goes, Pete, why are you throwing your ice on the ground and stomping on it? This is where your food goes. You don't throw your ice on the ground. What are you thinking? And he just absolutely criticized me and belittled me for doing something completely stupid, which was absolutely correct. Why would you put all that dirt, fuel, oil, all that crap? You're just grabbing it up and throwing it right in your cooler. So there you go. Courtesy of Roland Martin. Don't throw your ice on the ground at the gas station.
Well, Pete, I hate to interrupt your story time, but we did in fact get a winner already. The board was right on it.
Get out of here.
In fact, the second one submitted was only one name off, and I'd guess probably the 25th to 30th guesses was the correct answer.
Go ahead, Alex.
Nice.
You say it.
The correct answer that came from the keyboard of Mike P, who will be winning the $300 Rugged Road Outdoors Cooler, was Gerald Swin, John Cruz, and Greg Hackney. Congratulations, Mike.
How about it? How about it?
Good job.
A lot of Hank Cherry guesses, but he did not make all four. Congratulations again to Mike P. Mike, if you'd send in your subscriber number for me, we will get you that cooler and 2,500 shakes of a lamb tail, as Brian might say.
I gotta say, Heckabass on YouTube had two of them. He had Hackney and Cruz.
Mm.
Yeah, my man.
I gotta shout out to our pal and our partner at Visit Anderson, Neil Paul. We'll get to see him this weekend when we film. But he's the one who provided that trivia question for me. We were just catching up, talking about hotel rooms and just information he needed for this weekend's event, and then he posed that question to see if I could get it, and it took me 12 names to get all three. So I wasn't thinking about the guys who left for MLF and then came back for whatever reason. It just made me exclude those guys, and it's a great question. It took them at least a minute to get it or so, maybe two.
Yeah. Hey Pete, I got a question from a buddy of ours, Keith Cowan. Real quick, spell epoxy.
EPOXY.
Thank you. He's been trying for like 3 hours now to get it, and he couldn't, even with his spell check. But yes,
tell Keith what's up. I miss that guy.
Yeah. He's not
why
good
is he
with
trying
spell.
to spell epoxy?
He just can't spell. He's just he's working on the things he's weak at, and he's weak at spelling. So
stick to your strength. Don't work on your weakness. Stick to your strengths. Keep selling.
Just throw a spinner bait on the outside edge of the grass. You got this. You got this, Keith.
He does have it. He does have it.
It's great stuff. I can't believe you guys found the answer to that question so fast.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. What a great prize. Thanks, Hank, for providing that, and Jacqueline for telling the greatest story in the history of the world.
That was a good story.
That was good. That was fun. And thank all you guys for hanging out, tonight. Appreciate you, Alex and BTC.
Yep.
JK. What do you got, BTC?
I don't know. I don't feel like I'm ready yet. We still have a like and share to do, and and somebody suggested that Travis Manson would have been one of those options. Alex, I think you saw that, right?
I did. Yeah.
Stealing my glide bait.
Yes, that and this is his 4th classic at Hartwell. Probably not the second one. Might be the first one.
I think he might be someone that hates the glide bait even more than you. So I would clear his name rather quickly off the glide bait suspect list.
Does he hate the glide bait?
Does he
He tries to catch 2-pound smallmouth with them and doesn't really figure out why he doesn't catch anything. That's my guess. I don't know.
I was up at St. Lawrence with him 1 year ago, a year and a month, and he broke out a glide bait. So just saying.
Smallmouth are they're different when it comes to a glide bait. You know, your strike to catch is not really great. And I may or may not be going somewhere where I want to be throwing a glide bait for smallmouth soon.
Yeah.
And got in touch with my good friend Paul Bailey, and he gave me some awesome tips on how to improve my strike to catch that I've struggled with when I've been with spots and some smallmouth with that bait. So looking to see if that kind of stuff works.
Come on, you can't leave us hanging like that. No.
Giving that up.
No. Come on.
February 27th, 28th, I'll be ready to give that one up.
Oh, please. You're going to be fired.
That up on February 30th.
You're going to be fired before that if you keep those kind of secrets.
February 30th. Dude, let me have something for myself for a tournament. And
then you can't lay it out there like that. Just keep it to yourself, for crying out loud.
Did you say February 30th?
I couldn't help it.
You know, I talked to Oliver Knight about glide baits and smallmouth up at Thousand Islands, and he was, you know, like you would expect, but it was summertime. It's a different kind of deal. Summertime, the fish were showing themselves to him, and the big giants, the big tanks, were coming up and revealing themselves like they always do with that big bait.
Sometimes you just got to show it to them.
You got to show. You know what? Remember a thrift story about the dock and bringing those giant fish out that you had no idea were there?
Yep. And the glide bait brought them out, and they fished them docks with his tournament partner. They fished these weekend, these Thursday nighters, and his buddy wanted to throw a jig. I was like, dude, we've been fishing these docks for 10 years, throwing jigs and shit at them, and never saw these fish. Why do you think they're going to bite it now? But they went down them with a big bait, and this big bait brought all these giants out. And Brian's thought process was not to go back to the baits that they've been bit on before, because those baits never got those bites, but to change the approach. Step back further, make a longer cast, a silenter cast, different things like that. But it wasn't to go back to those other baits, because those baits never showed those fish.
Exactly. And it let them know that there was like this. He was telling a story about like 20 pounds was a monster bag. Nobody ever catches that there. And he saw 38 pounds. I heard that right.
Yeah.
And that, you guys concur? Like 30 some odd pounds, mid 30s came out from a place that they never even thought that kind of fish existed. And that's the power of the big giant glide bait that I currently don't possess. That's only this color. And that it can show you fish that live in a place that you didn't even know were there. That was an amazing seminar.
Uncle Ronnie.
Yes.
Was that the one he was talking about at the time?
Did this one. Yep. Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. I had a day with this that I throttled them in the morning on just a reeling swim bait, like a hard swim bait, like triple jointed, the one like a triple trout kind of deal, but smaller. And you just were winding it, and they got off of it, and it got still and calm. and the fish were kind of around the spawn, kind of ending the spawn, you know. And I started throwing this thing, and I never caught one on it, but I caught 4 over 4 pounds that this thing drew out. Biggest one was a 6.5, and every time I caught them on the throwback. In fact, I would rip the bait out before it got to the boat, before the fish would get too close to the boat. Once I identified that there was a big one tracking it, and I would lean down and try to get out of eyesight, and from my knees, grab my throwback bait and throw it back to where they came from, behind them. So I wasn't trying to throw it on the fish. I threw it back from where they came from, and I caught all 4 of them in that day. And I've done that here and there, but I've never had a day where I've done it 4 times, and it happened in like a 2 or 3 hour span. It was really cool. I'd love to get a chance to mess around with them like that again one day, you know.
That's awesome. Awesome experience. They're really neat baits. Brian, we've got a Facebook like and share winner. And who is that?
Oh, crap. I have no idea.
Alex, you got it?
I sure do. The lucky winner of the $50 TH Marine gift card from the Facebook like and share contest. Again, everyone, thank you to everyone that participated in the contest. It's a real big help to the channel. The winner of this week's edition is Josh Whitford. So Josh, if you want to send us a DM or a message, whatever the heck Facebook calls it now, please send that over and we'll figure out a way to get you that gift card.
Congrats, Josh.
Yeah.
Congrats. It's great stuff. And it was a great show, man. Great information. A lot of fun, a lot of good stories, and looking forward to next week. What do we have on? Do we have our agenda planned next week, PTC?
Yes, we do, Peter.
What do we got?
I got Dan Quinn from Rapala lined up, guys. If you didn't catch the last time Dan was on, what's Dan's title at Rapala, Pete?
Oh, I don't know. Pro staff manager, marketing kind of person. I think he's pro staff guy.
Basically,
right?
Dan knows what every single pro on the Rapala staff is doing, using, throwing, and he knows it all, man. And he was phenomenal last time. This is not some egregious sponsor obligation at all. His content was phenomenal. And we're gonna have Dan on, and possibly a pro on the Rapala staff. Although, I temper that. You know what I mean? Like, we talked about a couple of names on the Rapala staff, but I don't want that guy to cause Dan to sit there and not talk, because Dan knows so damn much. You know what I mean? I don't want him to. So we're working it out. But the content and the knowledge that he was spewing was phenomenal, and we're going to do it again in a new topic. So.
Brian, are you also worried that said Rapala staff member may have stolen a couple baits from someone else on the show, and you don't want to cause a fight that would also cause Dan not to be able to get his piece across?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Yeah, probably exactly that, Alex. Alex, by the way, when we go to close out, I want you to hit your signature move. Pete always closes the show, but all right? You know what it is, so don't worry about it, Pete.
I'm going to throw it to you, Alex.
You're going to throw it to Alex?
I'm going to see the signature move.
Well, you bring it out, you set it up, let Alex tap it in. So.
All right. Well, I'm going to do it right now because it's been a blast. Appreciate you guys watching, and come hang out with us this weekend. We're going to be going strong, starting at 9 o'clock in the morning. We've got some amazing seminars. Go check out the links on the IM feed. Go over to thebashuniversity.com and get yourself signed up for this week's classes. It was so awesome. Thanks, Jacqueline and Hank Cherry, for great stuff, great stories. And thank you guys, BTC, and thank you, JK. And we're going to throw this right now. We're out. Have a great night. Alex, close us out, buddy.
Try again.
What did I miss? I thought you wanted the classic
I think you squirtled it, man. I think you squeefed it. Try it again.
I tried yelling it into the microphone, but it didn't work.
Yeah, nice,
Mhm.
nice and smooth.
There it is.
Nice and smooth. Don't be distracted. One more time. Go ahead.
We'll work on it.